Every choice makes an impact on the future. Those were the wise words shared. And you may have heard them passed down from your parents or from your teachers, from others that you might study. Every choice makes a change, makes an impact on the future. You know, when I looked at that, you would know that there is a change. If you had saw me several years ago and you look at me today, you would see change has occurred. Gone are the days where I tried to do everything because I needed to get us to the goal. I needed to get us to the end. But at times I might have stepped over the people that were helping me or looked to help me, were had the role description that they required to support me. So sometimes they did it out of their position, sometimes they did it out of their willingness, sometimes I just didn't take advantage of sitting back and allowing them to help me get across the line. To come together, as we talked about in this series of now day 7, but in the series where we talked about leaders recreate within, they climb, they bring everybody with them, they overcome the obstacles. They say, I need you, because they value people. They know that people are necessary to reach the goal, the dream, the organization culture, the reason for that business, the reason for that organization. They persevere because they know they have to get to the end, because a half-finished life is a half-finished life, and we are charged with putting everything into our life. We are charged with putting all the chips on the table and saying, I am all in. And yesterday, we talked, actually not yesterday, but 2 days ago, we talked about speaking last. Leaders speak last. Got to get these things in my mind. The order is not so much necessary. It's the fact that we need to look within and then build ourselves up and create. Well, today we're talking about the last step of this 7-day series. The last step being leaders create. Or in other words, leaders fuel their creativity with fresh wind. So what's that about? Let's take a look at it. So we have a right to choose. Every day we make that choice. Or we don't. And even by that, that's a choice. When we make a choice, if you go back to a couple episodes ago, we had that decision tree. Either it's yes or it's no. There's no maybe. The maybe is the white space in between those two decisions that gets you nowhere. Either you say, yes, I will do this, or no, I will not do this. You have the right to try. Everyone has the right to try. What do we do? What do we do? Do we make somebody's life better? Do we smile at somebody walking by you? Do we take a moment to say, hi, Estelle, how's your day? And we listen and we speak last, because what we're trying to do is listen to that person's story, to find out what is happening in that person's life, to know how you might be able to help them, help that person, help a group of people. So we are called upon this greatness of recreating within. We have to recreate ourselves, but our creativity may be capped because we cap it. As I'm thinking about this, I notice in my life, at times where I was not creative, I stayed still. I was not moving forward. I was not moving into the future. I was not creating something of value. but I was creating something of stuck, creating a residence in the comfort zone. I was building my big house and saying, yes, I have arrived. I am now in my comfort zone. And I am so happy. I finally made it to the comfort zone. And yet, creativity causes us to be in the breakthrough zone. That's right, breakthrough. We cannot operate in comfort and create comfort. Oh, this chair may be comfortable, a nice pillow or a high back chair. I've got a really nice desk chair sitting in storage, waiting to come up here. Just got to get the right vehicle. But it's not comfort that we seek. It's the challenge. It's the joy in accomplishing something of value. Steve Jobs was once quoted as saying, creativity is just connecting things. When he goes on to say, when you're dealing with creative people and you ask them, how'd you come across that? How'd you accomplish that? They're a little bit guilty because they don't feel they did it. It just appeared to them. They got used to seeing something and it became real. It became important and they brought it forward. They brought it forward and said, hey, let's try it this way. So what do we see? What do we do? Well, leaders fuel creativity. They fuel creativity because they know in order to recreate, to persevere, they're going to have to change along the way. There is no comfort zone other than the comfort of moving forward, of being challenged, of walking forward. So I look at you, and I don't know your story. You're listening. Hopefully you give me a comment. Tell me your story. And I bet if you look back, there's a fresh wind that occurred. And now what's fresh wind? Well, look at it this way. After a big stifling hot air, so humid air. Here in Florida, we got lots of humid air in the mornings. And at times that the wind's not blowing and it's really warm, it can be stifling. The storm then builds and builds. The environment looks to change, to evolve, to go from stifling to refreshed. And then as a result, like a short while ago, a big thunderstorm was building up here in the central Florida area. And then finally it expands and releases rain and thunder and lightning and winds, and as that moves through, what's left? I mean, we have something special here in Florida versus, like in Wisconsin, it may be gray for a day or two or three based on a storm. It gets in preparation, it builds, and then finally has a storm, and then it's still gray afterwards until finally the sun comes through. It may get cloudy again because of the way the winds flow down from Canada. But here in Florida, the storms move across the peninsula, and as a result, they can go this way and they can go this way. They can go up, they can go down. The storms move. They have different directional streams, and as a result, what might be a couple hours in building and you can see these massive cloud banks, and then finally the storm passes through after the rain, after the torrential rain, after the winds. The sun comes out, the blue skies appear, and a fresh, wonderful cooling has occurred. Well, creativity is just like that. When you get creative people together, you get this umbrance of this generation, this idea creation, this idea progeny to come out onto the table, and it's exploding with, wow, new ideas, excitement, joy, maybe some hard thinking, but in the end, what's left? A nice product or a nice service or something that will lift life. It could be the chef in the restaurant who scurries around bringing all the components together. And you probably experience this in your house too. If you have a big recipe that you're trying, you bring a lot of the components together, and salt and sugar and flour and whatever it is that is going into the components with, could be a salad, could be whatever, could be something larger, that requires more components. If you watch Iron Chef, you would know that there's quite a few ingredients in some of their dishes, because they're also trying to put together many dishes at the same time. And there's many things flowing, and it's chaotic. And then finally, the meal is prepared, and now it's time to partake. That's the same way in work. We have a big project, or we are stuck. A new leader comes through, and it's not chaos. It's trying to understand all the flows and what's going on, what may be going on, what should be going on that isn't, what needs to be going on. And we have this chaos, this bubbling up of this energy that then transforms into something of value. Something that comes out on the end that people say, wow, this is amazing. We transformed what we were doing. I've been privileged to be part of some groups that we took an unknown idea and brought it together and brought it out, and it had great rewards for the organization, for the customers, for the stakeholders. So what do we do? Well, how do we fuel that? Because we're talking fresh wind. Well, sometimes we have to go through this process of getting rid of the past. So let's turn to John Maxwell, because John talks about creative capacity in his No Limits book that was recently released. And he cites 8 ways to improve our creative capacity, and I won't touch on them in depth. You can read them for yourself, but I want to speak to them. Creative capacity, I will always find an answer. With creation, you will always find an answer. There is more than one answer, and we talked about this. There is no one path to get to where you are, to where you need to be. There are a series of decisions that need to be made, and sometimes those decisions lead you into a different path than what was intended. So bear with me on the other 6, but remember, we have to be open to those options. Everyone and everything can get better. Sometimes we cap ourselves and we prevent our creativeness, our creation, from going forward, of getting us out of where we're at. Questions help to be more creative. So if you are trying to be creative, maybe you need to ask a question as to why you are where you are, or why the team is where it's at, or the organization. If the organization is suffering on results, well, why is it suffering? So ask questions and then see how creation or recreation will help evolve that organization to a higher point, to move forward, to get out of where it's at, to remove the downhill slide, to motivate the group to change the direction of the energy into a result that is more creative, that leads to greater rewards, to a greater result, to a greater loyalty, a greater willingness to be part of the solution. Number 5, comfort with half-baked ideas. We can't wait leaders can't wait because they need to keep moving the team forward. They can't wait for those ideas to be fully evaluated because you'll just get paralysis, right? You've heard that. So we go with half-baked, we go with ideas and get them on the table, and then we evaluate them and choose the best as a team, as a group, and the leader speaking last on that, because the voices are more important than his or hers. It's important the group as a whole evaluates and move forward, but you can't wait until the whole idea is created and evaluated and analyzed and then brought into the table and then said, well, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have these 5 options, and then we evaluate and move forward on one of those. We need to go with what we might be thinking at the moment and see if others think likewise. Or might be able to take that idea as part of the team mastermind and move it up to a greater height. Let go of what I embraced yesterday. Ask creative people to help me and create creative retreats for yourself. How could you leverage the future by letting go of something in the past? You see, we can't hold on to ideas of old. They no longer work without being changed. What is of yesterday needs to be changed for tomorrow. My friends, this is the idea. Get that fresh wind and create the change within and move forward. This is the idea. Take today to figure out what it is that will fuel your creative capacity, that fuels you to make change and to move forward. My name is Joe Dutkiewicz. I'm a leadership thought partner, and I work to help bring fresh wind into your lives. Contact me and let me know. We have workshops coming forward that will be of value. Get in touch. See you soon. I'll be around tomorrow. See you soon. Bye.